In this video, I want to talk about how we generated over $1 million over the last 19 months for this e-commerce brand of ours. So a jewelry and accessories brand that we've been working with since April 2021. So I want to break down exactly what we've done since the beginning. I've already talked about that brand on the channel. As an example, on that video where I talked about how we helped that brand pass the 7-figure mark. And I want to break down what we did during the Black Friday, Cyber Monday season of 2022. My name is Justin and I'm the founder at Wizo Media, an e-commerce marketing agency specializing in elevating thriving brands by simplifying e-commerce growth. The reason behind this video is because I know that a lot of you guys watching this video right now are making below $50,000 per month with your e-commerce brand. Therefore, I want to show you the tips and tricks that we've used for this 7-figure brand and how we've helped them get to that level in the first place so that potentially one day, once you cross that mark, we can work together. So instead of going with the regular problem solutions routes that I showcase in these case study videos, I just decided to write a couple notes about this client because again, it's not the first time I talk about them on the channel. And second of all, we've been working with them for so long at this point that it's quite hard to really go back in time and see what was the problem before they joined us and what work now, right? It would probably be even more fair to compare about the problems that we faced with them as, their agency over the last couple of months and what we fixed over these last 3 months, as of Q4 2022. Because the truth is, once a client joins the agency and starts working with us, we don't necessarily solve every single problem. A lot of these problems will be solved gradually through time and new problems may arise that needs to be solved later down the line. So with that said, some of the notes I've taken right here. So, at the time of writing this, again, we've been working with this brand for 19 months, as I said in the intro. Before working with us though, they never ran any paid advertising campaigns. So they never ran any single ads. It was only boosting Facebook posts, which if you know what a boosted posts versus an ad is, what is the difference between the two? So boosted posts can only be optimized for post engagement. Therefore, when you increase the engagement on a post, you increase the likes, the followers, whatnot around the account. Therefore, if you got more followers, you got a lot more curious people that will look into your bio and head to your website. And if you've got more people heading to your website and you have a pretty decent conversion rate, then you have an increase in sales. So can boosted posts bring you more sales? Yes. Is the direct objective of a boosted post to bring you sales? Absolutely not. It cannot even optimize for such data and won't even track that data if you just click boost post on Facebook or Instagram. You would have to run an ad from an existing post in order to get that data, which again, at that point, you get into the paid advertising category rather than just boosted posts. They were also doing 0 email automations. They were doing a couple email campaigns here and there straight from the Shopify interface. No SMS marketing at all. And that was a very low hanging fruit for that client as they had a list of 41,000 people that they were not utilizing at all with any of their automations and no set campaign structure. Last but not least, in Q3 of 2022, we actually introduced Google Ads. So for the first bulk of our partnership with that brand, it was strictly Facebook ads before we again introduce Google Ads later down in the mix. So unfortunately, as opposed to some of the other case studies, I can't really show you a before and after. I can show you an after, but there's no before because there's no ads. So there's nothing for me to show you before in terms of increasing results and whatnot. Again, I have another video on that brand where in our first year of partnership, we increased their overall revenue by 73% while being responsible for around half of their total revenue. So safe to say that we were responsible for a big part of that increase in revenue. And this year so far, we have increased the total revenue by 25% from last year. So in terms of ad and email attributed revenue, so revenue that was attributed back to our efforts as an agency with them, it's been $1.006 million over the last 19 months, which in that example makes us responsible or at least participating in about 58% of the total store revenue. So you can see that over the last 19 months, we spent about $98,000 on ads, brought back $745,000 in ad attributed revenue. Facebook being a 7.3 ROAS, Facebook being primarily acquisition campaigns, about an 80-20 split in terms of the budget. When you look at Google, Google is a little bit heavier on the retargeting side of things, although we still have our search campaigns up and rolling on there with some of the product keywords for that brand. So sitting at about a 10x ROAS on there. But before anybody asks in the comments, does that account for branded search campaigns? It does, actually. So do keep that in mind when you see those results. Now, Klaviyo right here to the right. So I had to split the results into two sections because for Klaviyo, you can't get more than a year of data in the performance tab. So 210,000 right here from November 15th, 2021 to November 15th, 2022, which is when we introduced emails. So basically right around their Black Friday start in 2021. And the period after, so this year from November 16th to December 9th, it's been about $50,000. So we actually exceeded this year's revenue in terms of email generated revenue based on last year's revenue if you compare the Black Friday period. So that was also a pretty good win for us this year. Now, specifically zooming in and looking at the Black Friday and Cyber Monday period for them, so that is roughly a 2-week period. So if they've run their campaign from November 15th all the way to November 30th of 2022, so about a 2-week span of running ads. We spent about $20,000 during these 2 weeks on ads, brought back $127,000 based on triple well for an overall ROAS of 6.66, so the devil's number. And if you look at Klaviyo at the bottom, during that time period, we brought back about $65,000 compared to roughly $40,000 in 2021 for that same time period. Now, this is a bit of a special case study because this brand was filled with low-hanging fruits, and that's not always the case. You've seen a lot of the recent case studies on the channel were not necessarily about that. They were about established brands. They were about brands that were already running ads, brands that were already doing great in some cases and needed an extra push, which we can definitely also help within these cases. But that brand was, again, it was a brand generating about $40,000 to $50,000 per month on a monthly basis. And they're now generating on a regular month about $80,000 to $90,000. And when we look at months like Black Friday, they're generating about $200,000 to $400,000 per month during that time period. So with that said, there was a significant increase in the revenue because a lot of the basics were not done. This brand was actually such a hidden gem because they were doing great organically. Everything they were doing was based on creating a sense of community. The owner was actually A1 at community building. In fact, I was talking about boosted posts earlier, but the brand owner of this e-commerce jewelry business, they spent a tremendous amount of money on boosted posts. So the roughly 5 years before we actually even started working with them, they grew their business by posting organically, boosting their posts, therefore getting more engagement on the page, therefore again leading to more people looking into the websites. And it was not always selling. So they were very good at creating a narrative around their organic posts. So there was a lot of stories, so a lot of long form copy, which the owner was great at doing. There was a lot of memes posted on there. So it became a community of, again, people, of women within their markets that's just so happened that they were selling products, which I think I've seen a couple other brands trying to do something like that with Facebook groups or with other forms of community building, and it's always seemed to be working pretty good. If you can effectively build a community, you can get your brand to a very decent level. I mean, in their case, they were doing $500,000 a year in sales, pretty much entirely organically. So what that tells me is that this brand just had a very strong product market fit, and all they needed is the right infrastructure in place in order to kill it, with paid advertising and email. So in terms of strategy, I'm not gonna get too much in depth. This video was more of a case study reel or showcase of that client, so showcasing the results. But that client specifically, it was just about setting up the basics. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know what our Facebook ad structure looked like. You've probably also seen what our Google ad structure looked like. It's just what we implemented for that brand. There was nothing on there. So we implemented that, slowly but surely started scaling up that brand. If we look at last year's Black Friday and Cyber Monday, we spent a lot less than we did this year, actually. So if you want to go back in time and take a look at the 2021 videos, I had a video called $250,000 Black Friday Cyber Monday case study. It's actually about that brand right here, which I strongly advise that you take a look at it to see and compare the performance of 2021 versus 2022, which in some cases is higher, some cases it's lower. So again, I advise you to check out that video. Now, any e-commerce brand owners watching this video generating less than $50,000 per month, or any marketers, anybody who essentially runs Facebook ads, Google ads, TikTok ads, primarily for e-commerce businesses, check out the description down below and join our free Facebook group where you're gonna be one of the first to know about these upcoming YouTube videos. You also get access to our exclusive free 25-minute training on TikTok ads, Last but not least, any questions that you might have about the industry, about your ads, whatnot, you can post in there and I'll be more than happy to help you out with that. Or if you are an e-commerce brand owner making at least $50,000 per month with your brand and you'd like us to take care of your full paid advertising strategy, all of your ad creatives, then also take a look at the description below. Click on our Calendly link, fill out the questionnaire, book in a call, watch the pre-call video, and that's it. You'll be good to go, and I'll be really happy to speak with you one-on-one. On that note, make sure you check out other videos on the channel, like this 2021 $250,000 case study is basically about that same brand, but a year ago. So check this out, and I'll see you guys in next video. Peace.